We'd like to welcome you here inside of Hot Springs County High School, home of the Bobcats. It is JV volleyball on two basins. Sports Network, the future of the Bobcats on the voice of the Bobcats. Well, that freshman game was really interesting, wasn't it? A 2-0 sweep for the Bobcats freshmen. Can the JV team continue that into this game? Also a little bit of a prelude for the varsity game coming up later on, as the varsity team tries to get revenge for the road loss at the top of the month. Thermopolis Bobcats and the Shoshoni Wranglers. We're going to let you know who's who. Shoshoni, basically the exact same as the last game. All blue with the black shorts. Shoshoni across the back of the uniform, yellow numbering and lettering, as well as the steamboat horse on the chest of the uniform. Shoshoni will start this match on the left side of the floor. Thermopolis Bobcats wearing their home whites today with the purple numbering, yellow outline. Bobcats across the back of the uniform. There's no libero uniform that the Bobcats are using, so everyone is wearing the standard white. Bobcats also wearing the purple pants, as well as the Bobcat on the right of the uniform. Bobcats will start out this opening set on the right of your device. That being said, first set about to get underway, and it looks like it'll be the Bobcats serving first in this JV game. The Shoshoni C team was not able to get the job done. Will the JV team manage to get it done? Let's find out. It's the Shoshoni Wranglers and the Thermopolis Bobcats on TBSN, the second match of 3 here tonight. And, of course, as always, varsity coming up right after this, a best of 5. And the jump serve, and we're underway for the JV contest. There'll be a set to the near side. They'll tip it over, a dive to the middle of the floor to keep it alive. And into the net it goes off the 13 of, off the 13 of Ella Slover. And, by the way, I think we have a more up-to-date roster now for our JV team. We actually have some numbers now. So I think we got a more complete roster. So thank you, of course, to the HSCSD for getting that done there for us. 2-0 there. Shoshoni will score as it sails out of bounds. Number 5, Cambry Metzler now to serve. And remember her from basketball, actually. Hetzel goes to the near side and trying to get there, too. It was the 11 of Marika Ammond. Unfortunately, not able to get a hold of it there. 3-0 Shoshoni to open out the set. The serve again. Up to the far side, back row. The set by Hetzel, not Hetzel. The set by Amelia Strickland. Played a lot in that freshman game, and now it's going to go out of bounds toward the Silhouettes, and another point for the Wranglers. So we got a couple of ladies out there on the floor that are not exactly the freshest in the world after playing that freshman game. So probably going to need a little bit of subs here in this game. That one goes to the back end to Hetzel. And now to the near side, the spike off the 26 of Aislinn Dobbins. And it looks like that'll end up being a point for Shoshoni. 5-0. Lady Blue starting off this JV game on a hot streak, as they'll continue to have the 5 serve here. This will go to the back row. Trying to get her name here. I apologize. Ammon sends it to the back row. The set off of Metzler. The spike into the back row. Flag goes up. A good try, though, by Jayla Dickinson, the freshman. And the Bobcats will finally break the scoreless streak after 5 unanswered points. And it'll go right on back to Shoshoni as the net fault is taken by Amelia Strickland. It's kind of weird seeing Strickland not wear the number 8. She wears it for the freshman games. Jalen Stedman stole that number for the JV team. Up to the middle. And now that's Strickland getting it to the back end. Shoshoni will try to answer here. Gets up to the back row. Flag goes up just barely out of bounds off of Kylie Bridger. Check that. It might not have been her, actually. It might have been someone completely different. I think it was actually the 22 of Chloe Newberry. Fielded there by Hattie Dolcater. Had a heck of a freshman game. She'll move it up to the far side. The spike and a heavy one. The flag goes up. And they're going to say Shoshoni point as it goes out of bounds, but a heck of a spike there, and I couldn't even remember who got it. I think it might have actually been Aislinn Dobbins there, number 26. That was the last person I saw. 7-2 is your score. And dropping to the floor, 8-2 now, Shoshoni. Good effort by Ammon, though. By the way, serving for the second time now is Jayla Dickinson, the freshman. Dickinson sends it to the back end off of Ammon. Now it's Hetzel setting it up, and now through the middle. Number 24 there on the takeaway, Jaden Boren, and now they're going to try and go to the near side. That's a point for the Bobcat, or for the Wranglers. And Thermopolis will use their first of two here. Timeout called for the purple and gold. We're going to step aside. It is 9-2. A bit of an ugly opening set so far for the Bobcats. Can they get it together? We'll be right back from Hot Springs County High School here in just a second. We'd like to welcome you back here inside of Hot Springs County High School, home of the Bobcats. The Shoshoni Wranglers getting set to serve. It'll be Jayla Dickinson to serve for Shoshoni. 9-2 is your score here in the opening set of this JV game. This game brought to you by Kirby Consulting, your elite oil field consulting professional since 2014, serving the Rockies and the Western Plains. The spike, that's going to go to the back end. What a play there. That's going to be a point for the Bobcats. Couldn't remember. I think the kill was made by either Dobbins or Hetzel. They were the ones that sent into the back end. Beautiful job. I think that's more than I think that's pretty much what they need there. Hopefully to get this game back under control. The jump serve, that's going to be to the near side. Almost faulted on the serve. And Shoshoni just running around with like chickens with their heads cut off on that play, trying to salvage the point. And Thermopolis will have back-to-back points here off the timeout. 4 points on the board for the purple and gold. The serve gets it to the near side. Shoshoni, and that's going to be a rejection. That's going to go back out to the other side of the floor. Return to sender. 9-5. Cue Elvis Presley, return to sender. Good Lord. What a play from the near side on the front lines to make the move. And now the serve coming up again, her third one. And that's going to be an ace this time. That is 3 straight out of the timeout for the Bobcats. They've scored in 3 different ways. And poor Brooklyn Emerson there. She tried to go for it. The set, trying to get some points back. And the spike, and it's blocked in the middle there. That's going to be a point for the Bobcats. What a play and a big block there. And I believe it might have been Ella Slover getting the first hand there. But I also have reason to believe Izzy Hetzel was in on it too. Another serve coming up for number 26. That's going to clear the net off of Dolcater. That is 2 aces now for Aislinn Dobbins. Might as well call her Aislinn Dobbins at this point. She does the same thing at the freshman level too. Not really that shocked that she's doing it here. 9-8 is your score. The set and the spike, and Dolcater looked like she wanted to go for it there. Instead it was the 13. Speaking of 13, Ella Slover, the one to send it back over to the Shoshoni end. The back set and the spike from the near side. Too much juice on it. That's a point. Oh, actually, it looks like they're going to call that on Thermop, so that is a point for Shoshoni. So we apologize, but still a very good run there for the Bobcats. Can they get the points needed here to take the lead? Getting ready to check in is going to be Jalen Stedman. Also a little bit of communication going on in the back row there. They're trying to pinpoint Chloe Newberry, the freshman. She's coming up to serve. They're trying to get the attention on her on this upcoming defensive set. And that's going to be a block. Decatur there to get it, but they'll send it back over anyway. And the spike, or not really a spike, but just palms it over, and that is going to be Izzy Hetzel. Not a mistake that she makes often. One-on-one there with Decatur, and she just could not could not send it over there. 11-8. Near side, that one looked like it was going to fault, but it didn't. That's going to be 4. That's unfortunate. And Shoshoni getting the scoring streak back here. They got now, I think this is their 3rd point unanswered here. And so with that, 12-8 is your score. The Wranglers trying to win this opening set here. Number 22 still on the service. This is Chloe Newberry. This will be her 3rd set. Back row off of Ammon to now Hetzel. To the middle, it's Slover on the spike. Really well received there by Cheyenne McKee. And into the net there off the far side. Tried to bump it from the attack line. Brooklyn Emerson was the last one to touch it. And the Bobcats will get it back. Izzy Hetzel now up to serve. The sophomore has had a very good season at the JV level. And that one shanked off the 12 of Sage Frank. Saw her a little bit in the freshman game, or I guess for Shoshoni it would be the C game. But they playing her in the JV game. Speaking of double duty, Izzy Hetzel, expect her to see her in the varsity game tonight. She has done a lot of double duty stuff. She's been playing well at the JV and varsity levels. Hetzel there on the set, and now the spike off of, I want to say that was off of Sky Griffin, the sophomore. A little too much juice on it there, but it had a lot of potential though. 13-10. And now here comes number 10, the freshman Hattie Decatur. Had a really good game in that C game, and that's going to go out of bounds off of the 7 of Griffin again. Shoshoni just trying to string together a good enough run here. That's kind of been it's been kind of a rubber banding set for the two teams. Shoshoni will pull away, and then Thermopolis will bring them back in. Then Shoshoni will go again, and Thermopolis will pull them back in again. Hetzel through the middle, now Slover. And they did this against Powell as well. That's going to keep it alive. Hetzel. Back set, now Slover on the spike. Shoshoni trying to tip it. It's still alive. Abbott sends it over. And now the spike coming up, and nothing but net there off of McKee. That is going to be a point for Thermopolis, and it looks like we're going to sub. Number 28 stepping in. This is Alyssa Good, the freshman. I think we saw her play basketball last year, actually, for the Lady Blue. A lot of these freshmen I do recognize from last year. Into the back row, near side. Now they're going to go middle. Didn't even get it to the attack line, but they'll still make it work. Now the spike off of Ammon, it hits the antenna. That's automatically called a side out if it hits the antenna, and you can even hear it hit it there. But great job by America Ammon to try to keep it alive. 15-11. Shoshoni now 10 points away from winning the opening set in this JV game. Brooklyn Emerson sends it over from the near side. Now here comes Hetzel. Far side, very good. That's a point. But you still have to give credit there to the 28 of Alyssa Good. She tried to go for the dig there, just didn't quite get the right angle from her fist there on it. And now here comes the 13 of Ella Slover to serve. Back row, into the corner, not quite going to be an ace. Shoshoni will salvage it there. Now will be Thermopolis' turn to respond. They'll go from the far side on the spike. Shoshoni on a good defensive stand. Now they'll try to return. And just barely tips it over. That's something you could see at the college ranks. Good Lord. And that is going to go off the 13 of Brooklyn Emerson. And a very entertaining rally comes to an end there, as Thermopolis clawing their way back in 2 points. Remember how Shoshoni started the set? They were up 5-0, or actually 6-0 to start the set. Tries to go for it on the far side. Nothing but net there off the 26. As Shayla Dickinson tried to push it over. I think she got a little intimidated, though, by the blockers over there. America Ammond and Amelia Strickland stood pretty tall there on that far side. Net fault here for Ella Slover. That'll go back to the Wranglers. And that'll be Jaden Boren, the freshman, stepping in now to replace the 13 of Ella Slover. Slover's had a pretty good match so far, and Hetzel sends it back on the bump, just stays put. That's a spike and too much juice. Flag goes up on the near side, up toward the Bobcat bench. 15 now on the board for Thermopolis. And you got to give credit here. This JV team has done a very good job of regrouping during these matches, and they did it against Powell. Eventually that led to a win. 2-0 win, mind you, over the Panthers, but it's not quite that sustainable. And it's going to be a tip, and that should be 4 touches here for Shoshoni. Nope, they'll rule it out of bounds off the touch. And we are knotted up here at 16 apiece. Bobcats have used 1 timeout out of 2. I don't know if they'll need to use a second here. And it will be a clean serve. The set, back set, and miscommunication. Cambry Metzler was trying to get her attacker into position there for the spike, and it just didn't work out that way. And Bobcats, for the first time this game, will have the lead. Back row, the bump, the set, and now through the middle, the spike, and nothing but net. In basketball, that's a good thing. In volleyball, not so much. And Shoshoni will call a timeout. Both teams have taken 1 timeout apiece, and we'll be right back here from inside of Hot Springs County High School as 7 points remain between the leader and the end of the set. We'll be right back from inside of the Bobcat Den here in just a moment. Bobcats lead 18-16 in the opening set. The Lady Blue, the first one's out of the timeout here. We'd like to welcome you back here inside of Hot Springs County High School, home of the Bobcats. 18-16 here in the opening set. Shoshoni started the set, I believe, either 5 or 6-0 before the Bobcats answered. Shoshoni's been dominant most of the first set, and it's just now that they've let the Bobcats get too close and now have the lead. But like I said in that freshman game, in volleyball, no lead is safe. And now the serve drops to her knees there and get rejected. America Ammond return to sender. I need a. I have my Stream Deck. I need to program my Stream Deck to play "Return to Sender" by Elvis Presley whenever that happens, because that's the only thing I can think of when that happens. And they'll try to keep it alive. It looks like it'll be. I think they'll call a carry there on the Bobcats, so Shoshoni will get the point. And now it looks like they're going to send back in their star player here, number 10, Hattie Dolcater, the freshman. Cheyenne McKee now to serve. And too much juice on it. Flag goes up Bobcat side. 20-17, 5 points to the end of the set. And it's looking pretty promising so far. This JV team has found a way to regroup after being down by a lot earlier in the set. And now that being said, Shoshoni did just score off the net fault. But the Bobcats, I feel like a lot of those points going to Shoshoni so far have been because of mistakes that the Cats have made. It's nothing that the Shoshoni Wranglers have, well, I'm not going to say nothing, right? But Shoshoni hasn't had much offensive success. I don't feel like it's mostly, and especially mistakes like that, as that's going to be a point for the Bobcats, as Cambry Metzler a little bit off the wrong fingerprint there. 21-18. Number 26 there to serve. I believe that's Dobbins, and that will be an ace. And, yep, that is Aislinn Dobbins right there. The freshman. I wouldn't be surprised if she actually is the team leader in aces, because I feel like whenever there's an ace, we mostly see her behind it. And that's going to be it. Return to sender. That is off the 13 of Ella Slover for the point. Great job there by that front line. The Bobcat front line has impressed me at all three levels all season so far, and that is exactly why. Ella Slover, a really good player, getting better as the season progresses. She's only a sophomore. Or actually, no. No, she's a junior. I apologize. She was a sophomore last year. But that is a sophomore there. Izzy Hetzel, unfortunately, couldn't quite get the right angle on the ball there. That's going to be into the net, and Shoshoni will get the point off that. Still 2 points away here from the end of the set. I believe this is Newberry now on the serve. Last time we saw her serve, I think she did pretty well. And Slover, not great there on the offensive end of the net. And Shoshoni will now get into the 20s. And a win not quite guaranteed here. And an ace to make things worse. Newberry is going to get an ace. I believe this will be the first one for Shoshoni in this game, unless they just haven't been paying attention. But Shoshoni scoring points here. I think they've scored 3 unanswered now since the change of the possession. Chloe Newberry still to serve. I believe this will be her 3rd or 4th serve. And the dive sends it back over. It goes out of bounds, though, but still a fantastic play for America Ammond. And the serve now, Newberry sends it into the back row. Ammon there to get it. Hetzel on the set. The spike coming up for Griffin. And returns it back over Hetzel. And this will be the offensive attack here for Shoshoni. The set, a little bit of a collision. Sends it over despite the interference. The set and the spike coming up two-hander. Hetzel will punch it over. Had to react quickly, and she did. And now they'll try to get over there. Joel Cater was trying to get to there first. Hetzel on the set. This is going to be close and miscommunication. And Slover thought that it was going to go over the net, and so she didn't really go up for it the way she should have. And it is now a tie set at 23. Newberry, I think this will be her 5th serve now of this possession. And that's going to give them a lead here, set point. The Bobcats, it's just kind of one of those things with Bobcat volleyball. Just finishing the set is kind of been a bit of a challenge across the 3 levels. We'll be right back in just a moment. As we head into set point, the Shoshoni Wranglers reclaim the lead. But can the Bobcats finish off the set here, try and get that point back? We'll be right back in just a moment as the Bobcats use their 2nd and final timeout. Bobcat timeout. Shoshoni, the first one to break out of it. We are back here at the Bobcat Den here at Hot Springs County High School. Home of the Bobcats, 24-23. And this is set point here. And goes to the floor here. This is Hetzel. And now the spike up to the far side. And tries to tip it over, keeps it alive. Back row, this is dangerous. And clears the net. That's the tying point. And the fans making noise on the far end of the gym. And we are tied back up at 24. This game not guaranteed yet. Now serving is going to be Izzy Hetzel. Sends it over to the middle. That one just barely grazes the net. Now Hetzel's going to have to try and mount the attack here again. The spike. No, Sky Griffin tips it. And it's going to be a net violation. Ties it up again. Or no, it doesn't tie it up. It actually gives Shoshoni the advantage here again. I just spit all over my laptop. Got another sub coming on, number 28. Alyssa Good back into the match. Good behind the purple. Set point here for the Wranglers. Back row, Ammon there to get it first. And now sending it back over to number 27. The spike by Slover. Return to sender here for Shoshoni. And now the tip. Trying to keep it alive. It's tied up again. It's the fourth set of the varsity game all over again. It feels like 25-25. Got to win by 2. And now Sky Griffin will serve here again. I do believe Amelia Strickland had something to do with that kill, by the way. And now the spike to the far end. Hetzel keeps it alive. Back to get it. That time was Strickland. Shoshoni back floor attacking. Dive into the floor. Hetzel keeps it alive. They keep it going. And into the net. Shoshoni gets the point. And it's just back and forth between the blue and the purple. 26-25. Once again, Shoshoni at set point. Will Thermopolis put this one away? Or sorry, will they tie it up or will Shoshoni put it away here? I have a feeling this second set, this might not end in 2 here, folks. The spike, that's going to go off. Shoshoni keeps it alive. Going from the attack line, gets it to the back end. Ammon keeps it alive, and now Strickland sends it into the back row. A hard-fought first set. Back end here to Hetzel. Now the set, and the spike from Slover. Keeping it alive again. This was Shoshoni's 4th offensive attack. They'll go to the back end again. Slover. Now back over to Griffin. Number 5 now for Shoshoni. The spike coming up. This will go to the back end again. Fielded cleanly. And Griffin will bump it back over. 6th attack now for Shoshoni. And they'll bump back over. This is easily the longest rally of the night. And they'll tip it to the near side. Shoshoni still keeps it going. And the spike back end finally. And the point scored by the Wranglers, and they will win the first set 27-25. You want to talk about finishing a set. Shoshoni coming back to win that set, and they lead the match 1-0. They got to win this second set to win it all, but I have a feeling it's going to be a hard-fought match until the very end. Well, with that being said, we are going to take a much-needed breather after that. Shoshoni leads the game 1-0. And, of course, we'll be right back here on Two Basins Sports Network, the future of the Bobcats here on the Voice of the Bobcats. Shoshoni leads after 1, and we will be right back here in just a moment. Again, 1-0, the final score of the first set, 27-25. Let's talk you back here inside of Hot Springs County High School, home of the Bobcats. Second set about ready to get underway. Shoshoni winning that opening set 27-25. And something tells me that this is going to be a 3-set game in this JV game. Remember, we still got varsity coming up after this. A revenge game for the Bobcats as they host the Wranglers. When they were on the road against Shoshoni, they lost 3-1, with the fourth set ending 27-25. Bobcats will be looking to get revenge in the varsity game. With this, they will have 3 games to go after tonight. They will be on the road against Grable tomorrow, which we are hoping to be there tomorrow. And then that'll be our last volleyball broadcast, at least for the varsity team. As we will not be there for Rocky here for senior night, and we will not be in Wright. We'll be covering the middle school basketball team during that time. Back row, and there'll be a bump coming up to the back end. Here comes Hetzel now to the 13 of I am so sorry, I'm blanking on her name. Well, it's okay because she's going to get another opportunity there. That was Ella Slover, and still going. That's out of bounds. Bobcat point. And now we got a sub coming in, number 22, Araya Vincent, the sophomore, coming back in. Excited to see what she's got in store here. Vincent serving all the way back from the baseline on the basketball court. She'll go for the serve. A running serve at that. The bump and the spike from the middle and into the net. Nothing but net there for the Wranglers. And we got another sub coming in, number 19, Lauren Teeples, the freshman, into the game for the first time tonight. Did a really good job in the freshman game earlier, and now she's getting her first minutes on the floor here in JV. Saw her a little bit, I believe, in the Powell game as well. The two-hander into the back row. Two ladies collide there. Sky Griffin and America Ammon, unfortunately, neither of them able to get to the ball there. Number 26, I think this is. Yeah, I think it is. It is Jayla Dickinson. Middle, far side now, as that was, I think that was actually Teeples that got there. Antenna, that will hit for the Bobcats, 3-1. Got another sub for the purple and gold here, as the 23 of Carson Ivy now onto the floor. A lot of the freshmen getting some more playing time here this evening in the second set. Dive into the floor. That's an ace this time, the first one of the set. And this is a complete inverse of the opening set. The Bobcats trying to get this one to 3. But can they hold on? Can they finish the set? Still extremely early, not even through the first fifth of the set. And that's going to be way too much power underneath it. Didn't even need to pan the camera. 5-1. By the way, serving appears to be number 27, Amelia Strickland. 5-1 Bobcats. And net fault there for Strickland. (5-2) now serving number 24. Looks to be Cheyenne McKee. Got a sub here for Shoshoni as Cambry Metzler will come off the floor. And the diving save from the far side, the set and the spike coming up. And now the Bobcats will try to answer, setting it over there, number 23. And now the return up into the back end. Bobcats will try to answer. This will be their third possession here. Now giving it back up to Shoshoni. The set, the spike from the far side. Gets to the back end of the floor. That is going to be a point for Shoshoni. But a good try nonetheless for Araya Vincent. Number 24 still serving for Shoshoni. Cheyenne McKee, I believe this will be her third serve. Dives to the floor there. And now to the back end, out of bounds. An easy call there. That will be out of bounds on Thermopolis, and Shoshoni will make it a 1-point set. After starting the set 5-1. Shoshoni has now scored 3 unanswered here. They'll spike, and a great tip there. Shoshoni will get a chance to answer. And now tries to punch it over. That was the number 10 of Hattie Dulcater as the freshman tries to get the kill herself, 6-4. And now the serve coming up off of the 11 of Marika Ammon. They'll get it up into the backcourt. The set and the spike coming up, and that one was a little undercooked, but it goes by anyway. The set and the spike. That one's tipped as Dulcater gets the kill. That was off the 11 of Marika Ammon. Tried everything she could to keep it in still suspended in midair. Now here comes Dulcater to serve. Good job by Hattie to send it over cleanly. That one got a little bit shallow, but still. That's going to go into the back end a little deeper this time. Far side, the spike by Griffin. Fielded cleanly. The set and the spike from the near side. Back end off of the delivery by Sage Frank. And now Griffin, back end, and that's going to be a point. Got another couple of people coming in now, as it looks like they'll send in Jalen Stedman and Ella Slover, as they'll replace a couple of the freshman players here. 19 and 22, so Lauren Teeples and Araya Vincent, although Araya is not a freshman. But also Dulcater coming off the floor for Shoshoni. Near side, the set, the spike goes to the near side. And Griffin, too much on it there. And they'll say it was out of bounds. Uncontested there, 7-6. Number 22, Chloe Newberry back to serve. She was pretty dangerous in that first set. Off the net, grazes by, and it lands inbounds. Bobcat point again. Trading blows here in the second set, and we got another sub coming on. Looks to be Cambry Metzler for the Wranglers coming on. The Lady Blue have had a pretty active bench, as well as the Lady Cats. As now Izzy Hetzel back to serve for Thermopolis. And that's going to be an ace. That is ace number 2 here for Thermopolis in the second set. Izzy Hetzel with her first of the night. And she'll send it over into the back row, and it lands inside the lines, and that is back-to-back aces for Hetzel. Just an impressive player, one of the most impressive we've seen on the JV team. It'll be really interesting to see what she does tonight in the varsity game. Well, that'll be a net fault, so after 2 straight aces, the gas runs out. That'll go back to Shoshoni. As now serving is going to be Alyssa Good, the freshman. Sending it over the net, and actually that might be an ace. No, it is not. They actually scored it in for Thermopolis, or a score for Thermopolis. I apologize. 11-7. Thermopolis will get the ball back. By the way, I think I might have been wrong. I think that might have been Cheyenne McKee on the serve, so I apologize. Now serving is going to be the number 6. Keeping it alive. And shanks it behind her. The score for number 6, who is not on our roster. Looks like, I don't know who that could be. Yeah, she's the only one not listed, so number 6 on the ace, I believe, there for the Bobcats. And she'll get another one. Thermopolis with 4 aces in this second set. And they'll get another one. I highly doubt that that's Millie Johnson. Goes into the back row. Flag goes up. That's another point for Thermopolis. And a timeout for the Lady Blue. They'll use their first of 2. Yeah, that rhymed. Shoshoni with their first timeout as Thermopolis starting to build momentum here in the second set. We'll be right back. They lead by a football score, 14-7. We'll be right back for more freshman volleyball JV volleyball here on Two Basins Sports Network. Mike talking back here inside of Hot Springs County High School, home of the Bobcats. Number 6 still back to serve for Thermop. It's been a pretty good scoring run for the Lady Cats here in this one. As Shoshoni, and that's going to keep it going. Thermopolis. I guess they're going to count that as an ace for number 6, which will make it the 5th ace of the night, or of the second set. They had a couple aces in that first set as well, but I don't think I've seen the Cats get this many aces in such a small amount of time. Gets it up way out of bounds, and that one actually almost hit Coach Daniels down there. It was so out of bounds, 16-7. Well, one of the freshmen committed attempted murder in that last match, shaking it into the that's not a very nice way to describe it, actually. But no, like, she just, like, did not have a very good angle on it and went right into the Shoshoni side of the bleachers. And now it's kind of the exact opposite. They're not satisfied going for their own fans. They're going for the JV coach now. Goes into the back end. The Mop did score on that last play, by the way. Goes way out of bounds. Not even close to the purple paint there, 18-7. 11-point game for the Thermopolis Bobcats. That one grazes the net, and it still clears. They'll try to send it right on back. This is going to be a bit of an interesting one here for the Wranglers. A diving grab as Sky Griffin sends it over. I'm panning the camera way too much. I apologize. Number 6 there to get it. Now it's Hetzel. Back set here to the 27. Dives to it. That's going to be whistled dead. Amelia Strickland on the kill. And the Bobcats, their longest point scoring run of the night between the two levels that have played so far. Not even the freshman team was able to get away with this much of a score. And miscommunication, the scoring run comes to an end. Number 6 and America Ammond, a little bit of miscommunication down on the floor, unfortunately. And looks like we got one coming in for Shoshoni. Number 10, Hattie Dolcater, the freshman, back onto the floor for the blue. Goes into the back. This is Hetzel. And now Ammond. And that's going to be a kill for America Ammond. 20-8. We forgot to score Shoshoni on their last point. We apologize. Checking into the game seems to be Araya Vincent, number 19, also checking into the game. This is going to be number 19, Lauren Teeples, the freshman. Lauren was a pretty good, crucial piece earlier in the set when she came in. Double-hander here to America Ammond. Now Hetzel. Ammond going to bump it over again. Back row here for Shoshoni. And now the spike. Back up again, this time to the 22 of Vincent. Ready for it there. Ball continues to go. That's going to go into the front of the net. That's going to be into the Bobcats' hands. A football score here in Thermopolis, 21-8. Speaking of football, do I really want to know how the Bobcats are doing against Mountain View? Last time I checked, it was 21-0 Mountain View. Just hoping that the Bobcats, hopefully they did something in the second half. I'm scared to check the YO Today live stream. I am really, really scared. Out of bounds. Oh, no, they're going to say that it was in bounds. A good play by Shoshoni to keep it in the corner. It just grazes the corner there. It looked out on our view. But, you know, it's easy to say that from up above the track. But also, I think, honestly, would it be easier, actually, to see it from their perspective down there, actually? So I feel like, you know, most of the time the bird's eye view is the best way, but I don't think that's the case in volleyball. Through the middle, that one's blocked. That's going to be a point. They're going to say 4 touches here for Shoshoni, 22-9. Thermopolis running away with the set here as Izzy Hetzel will come out of the game, and now number 23, Carson Ivey, into the game here. Now serving is Amelia Strickland. She's had a pretty good JV game so far. You can definitely see why they made the call up. That's going to go out of bounds. 23 on the board now for the Bobcats. The physical scoreboard still says 22. Now they changed it to 23. And that one, an ace! That is now 6 aces in the set for the Bobcats. It actually might be 7. I might have miscounted there. It is set point for the Bobcats. And it'll probably go into a 15-point third set here. Through the middle. And now the spike coming up. That's going to be off of Hal. That's going to be Vincent on a point. And Thermopolis will handedly take the second set. Makes belt to behind in that second set. But will Shoshoni have an answer for it? Or are they just saving their energy for a third set? Who knows? Guess we're just going to have to find out, won't we? We'll be right back for the third set here in just a moment. 25-9 was the final score in that set. Thermopolis ties it up. It's 1 set apiece here in this JV contest. We'll be right back. You are watching Junior Varsity Volleyball on Two Basins Sports Network, the future of the Bobcats, here on the Voice of the Bobcats. Third set coming up here in just a moment. It's welcome you back here. Whistle sounds, and we are ready. The third and final set of this JV game here on Two Basins Sports Network, the future of the Bobcats on the Voice of the Bobcats. It is a fresh new game now, pretty much, except it is a one-set game. 1-1 is your score in the overall match. 1 set, 1 apiece for both teams here. As I believe the Bobcats will be serving first to open out this third set. Now, of course, Powell threw us for a little bit of a loop last time when that freshman game went into a third set. We don't know if this is going to be 15 or 25. We, of course, did not have enough time to go down there and ask for clarification real quick. So, Ellis Slover set to serve, and we're underway for the third set. The tiebreaker here. Varsity coming up after this. Two-hander. Griffin, now Hetzel through the middle. It is going to be Aislinn Dobbins into the back here. That is Hetzel. Now, it just didn't work out there. Shoshoni, excuse me, will get the first point of the set. Varsity volleyball coming up for you after this. Thermopolis Bobcats and Shoshoni Wranglers in some 2A Northwest action. And that is going to go by. That's the Bobcats tying point. 26 now on the, 26, Jayla Dickinson trying to counter there. Did they score the wrong team? Yes, they did. It is 1-1. The scoreboard says 2-0. The set, back set, and the spike into the back row. And now Hetzel sending it into the back end here for Thermopolis. And Shoshoni sending it up to the three-point line. That is going to be Shoshoni point. Now they have 2 on the board. (2-1) your score here in Thermopolis. Number 24 back to serve. This will be Cheyenne McKee. And now back end. The bump and the spike from Hetzel. That's going to go up into the corner and out of bounds. Pretty convincingly there, 3-1. And again, just another question of can the Bobcats finish the set? The set and the spike into the net there off the 26 of Aislinn Dobbins. Not a mistake we see her make much of in these games. And that's going to be an ace. Cheyenne McKee getting the ace there, 5-1. And McKee will try it again here. And into the net, a net fault, and the Bobcats will finally get a point there. Their second of the set. And they'll send it into the near side. The bump. Another bump and into the net. That's going to get swallowed there. 3 on the board for Thermop. Remember how they finished that first set. They did kind of fall to Shoshoni early in the first fifth of the set. And then they were able to bounce back. They still lost that set by 2, but shows you what kind of team the Bobcats have been so far tonight. Just not quitting. And the block from the near side. They'll go onto the ear of the Bobcat. Now they're going to make it work from the attack line. Now here comes the near side. The spike. Griffin with the kill. 5-4 on the board now. Shoshoni still leads. America Ammon back to serve for Thermopolis. The serve and into the back on the attack line here. The set and the spike. Barely sends it over as Ammon tries to go for the dig. That's a point for Shoshoni. And they'll get it right on back. 6-4, Lady Blue on top here. This game brought to you by Kirby Consulting. Haven't said much of them tonight. We apologize for that, at least not in the JV game. And they'll send it to the back end. The set and pushes it over into the back behind the attack line. They'll tip it back forward. Now here comes Hetzel. Now the spike off the 26 of Aislinn Dobbins. And now they'll send it back over far side. Airborne, anybody's ball. Hetzel dives for it, and that's going to be a point for the Lady Blue. 7-4. You just kind of have to assume now that there's 8 points left. Then it could either be 15 or 25. You still have to treat it like it's 15. Continue to play your heart out. And here come the Bobcats, and a miscommunication deluxe down there. That is Izzy Hetzel and Jaden Boren just couldn't get rid of it there in the back end. We're going to try and work it to the front here. Izzy Hetzel, far side. The set, the spike coming up. Ammon gets to the floor there and gets it, and Sky, and that is going to be a kill. Sky Griffin, 8-5. And Thermopolis will get the ball back, so that's a little bit of a consolation prize there. Aislinn Dobbins back to serve now for Thermopolis. And chasing it down. That is going to be a flag down, and that is going to be a point for Thermopolis. And I think now that we're approaching close to the 15 mark here, we still are not entirely sure how this one's going to end. Time to deliver your TBSN, player of the game, and I think I'm going to, flag goes up. Sorry, I got the hiccups. I drank pretty quickly during that last intermission. I've had a lot of water today. Just drank that one a little too quickly. You can see the varsity team kind of starting to get in and warm up here. Can't wait to see what they got here. Trying to sweep the Bobcats here in 2025. As that one was sent over by Slover, and a big spike way behind the purple. 7 on the board now for the Bobcats here in the third. And now this will be Izzy Hetzel up to serve. Pushes it up. The spike, that's going to go up behind her. The set, that's going to push it up toward Hetzel. And now Slover on the spike, and the block doesn't work. 8 on the board now for Thermopolis. Hetzel. This will either be her second or her third serve. Drops her knees there. Good job for Shoshoni to keep it alive. They'll move it over to the other end of the floor. Sky Griffin, too much juice on it. And that's something that they're going to have to work with the sophomore on a little bit, especially leading up to regionals. They're going to have to get her to control the spikes a little bit. She's got a very powerful spike. There's no doubt about that. It's just about whether or not she can control it. Dropping to the floor here. This is 10-8. Hetzel pushes it back deep into the end. And now that is Dolcater. And return to sender. It stays in off of the 24 of Cheyenne McKee. 11-8. Shoshoni will get it back. They'll send it up into the back row. Flag goes up, and they're saying she touched it. So that will be a Shoshoni point despite going out the back end. But that should be a little bit of a warning there to the 25 of Kylie Bridger. 28. I apologize, of Alyssa Good. But she needs to kind of control the serve there. That's going to go off the fist and out of bounds under the corner. 12-9 Shoshoni. Winner of this set wins the match. And right now Shoshoni is 0-1 on the night as they lost the freshman game 2-0. And that's an ace for the Bobcats. They had 6 aces in that second set alone, which led them to that 25-8 victory, 25-9, 25-6. I don't know. I can't remember. Dolcater on a heck of a spike and out of bounds. And they were kind of appealing to the line judge there on the corner. Flag does go up, but it looked a little bit reluctant to me there. I think she, I don't know. It's kind of sometimes it is a little difficult. The ball goes to the ground so quickly. You have to make a decision. Drops to the floor, and that's going to be called dead there in the middle of the floor. Dead on arrival there. Shoshoni will get their 13th point. Again, just assuming that it's a 15-point third set. Hetzel gets up to the far side. And double-hander here. This is Sky Griffin. Now Izzy Hetzel, the spike from the near side, drops to the floor. Good job there keeping it going. The spike off of Ammon, gets it to the corner just barely. Thermopolis credited with the point. And now serving will be the 13 of Ellis Slover. And I think they're going to say line fault there. Yep, they are. So that should be a Shoshoni possession. I'm not so sure if it's a point or if it just gives them the possession. I think it's just going to keep Shoshoni at 13 here. Nope, check that. They moved it. It's 14. So just assume that this is a set point here, or match point. And after this point ends, assuming it's a Shoshoni point, we will wait for the referee confirmation. And nope, we're going to keep this one going, 15-12. I always thought the final set was, I think that might just be a varsity rule. Honestly, that might just be a varsity rule. And now putting it over there was Hetzel, back end. And that is out of bounds. Flag goes up, Bobcat point. Don't forget, coming up after this, it is going to be varsity volleyball. Player of the game today is going to be Aislinn Dobbins. Very impactful in that second set. And the spike, back end, keeps it alive. That's going to be a point for Shoshoni as Marika Ammon tries to keep it alive. 16 on the board for Shoshoni. (16-13), 9 points to go here for Shoshoni. The set and the spike for Izzy Hetzel keeps it going. And they'll send it up into the back end, out of bounds. The flag stayed down, but umpire's gonna say that it's gonna be out of bounds. Now serving is gonna be Marika Ammon. Back into the back row here. Sends it up to the 24. Now here comes the bump off of the 26 of Aislinn Dobbins. Two-hander. The set and the spike for Hetzel, and an antenna violation there. We'll give it to Shoshoni. The serve. Clears the net, drops to her knees. That is Izzy Hetzel that sends it over. The set and the double-hander, the dive, and a great stop there. Sky Griffin on the spike and a point. That one was, Sky Griffin was responsible for ending that play there, and a point for the Bobcats. Looks like coming off the floor is going to be the 26 of Aislinn Dobbins. She'll get replaced here by, I thought she got replaced there by Slover. Might have actually gotten replaced by Jalen Stedman. Speaking of, Stedman back there. Now the spike by Griffin, out of bounds again. Flag goes up. Pretty easy call to make, 18-15. And now serving is going to be the 22 of Chloe Newberry. She's been a pretty dangerous one so far in this JV game. Sends it over into the back row. Hetzel, double. That's going to be a tip over for a point there. Izzy Hetzel. And into the back. The set and the tip, and that's going to be still alive off of Ammon. Trying to chase it down. I believe that was Jalen Stedman. That one goes into the net, swallowed there, and that is going to be a timeout called, I wanted to say, by Thermopolis. So we'll be right back in just a moment as Shoshoni leads 19-16 here in the third set. We'll be right back in just a moment. Like talking you back, the Bobcats were the ones that called the timeout. 19-16 is your score. We have varsity ball coming up for you right after this. Puts it up into the back end. The set, the spike, and into the net they go. That is going to be a point here for Shoshoni off the carry there by the Bobcats. And now here comes number 28 up to serve for Shoshoni. This will be Alyssa Good, the freshman. Back end, this is Hetzel. And the spike into the back end of the floor. Hetzel on the back set. Now the spike into behind the attack line. They're going to try and tip this one over. 5 points to go for Shoshoni, by the way. The back set and the spike into the back on toward the key of the basketball court. Ella Slover was the one that put it over there for the Bobcats, and now the spike and into the net it goes. Bobcat point. And now looks like checking into the game, number 6 back in. By the way, we do not have her name on the roster. We apologize. And net fault there for the Cats. 21-17, a football score. Speaking of football, we'll probably deliver that score in Mountain View for you here in the varsity game, so you might want to stick around for that. Back end. This is Hetzel. Now the spike. If that's going to fall to the floor, a kill for the Bobcats. Didn't see who it was on the near side. I want to say that it was I think it was probably the 8 of Jalen 7. Either that or it was America Ammon that made the kill. The serve. And the spike. That one's into the net. Bobcat point. And they'll send it into the back row. And return to sender. That was off the 26 of Dobbins. And they're going to try and mount the attack here. The tip. All they really needed there from Ammond. The bump. The set by Hetzel and the spike by Ammond. And it's going to be a return here for Shoshoni. They'll go for the attack. The set. Spike again. Dobbins in the middle. Tried to place it there back row, and she did. And the spike, that one might be a little overcooked, but they still go for it anyway. Longest rally of the set so far. And the spike, that is going to go off. That's the 13 of Slover that made contact with. And into the back end and a side out. That is going to be Shoshoni point, 22 on the board. Sub coming onto the floor. That's number 24, Jaden Boren, into the game now. And looks like that's going to just barely graze the inside. That will be an ace for Shoshoni. 2 points to go in the match. Varsity coming up right after this. Well, about 15, 20 minutes or so after this, give or take. Back row here, the bump, and it's into the net. Match point for the blue. Because Shoshoni put it away. A hard-fought game. They won the first set pretty convincing. Well, not really convincingly, but they did win that first set pretty well by 2. Then Thermopolis dominated the second. We thought they'd come out in the third set swinging here, but it looks like it might be another Thermopolis timeout, so we'll be right back here in just a moment from inside of Hot Springs County High School. 24-19. Shoshoni on top, trying to put this away in 3. Thanks for welcoming you back. Bobcats using the second of their 3 timeouts. And, of course, the winner of this set will win the match. And we are on to the varsity game in about 20 minutes after the whistle. That's going to go out of bounds, and that's going to do it. Shoshoni will win the 3rd and final set, and they win 2 sets to 1. The final score as the handshake line goes. Of course, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Kirby Consulting. Of course, your oil field professionals since 2014, serving the Rockies and the Western Plains since 2014. Kirby Consulting is a proud sponsor of Bobcat Volleyball on Two Basins Sports Network. The Shoshoni Wranglers take down the Bobcats, and so far it's 1-1 across all 3 levels now. The freshman team won for Thermopolis, the JV for Shoshoni, and that is pretty much all she wrote there for this JV game. And with all the sub-varsity stuff out of the way, it's time to move on to the main event here with varsity volleyball coming up here on TBSN, brought to you by Kirby Consulting. And if that's all you're here for, then thank you for tuning in. And, of course, drive home safe and do not pet the buffalo. Otherwise, please stay tuned for the varsity contest coming up right after this. Thermopolis Bobcats lose to the Shoshoni Wranglers in this JV game, 2 sets to 1.